All right, let's solve one of those little mysteries of modern life that drives absolutely everyone crazy. I'm talking about the case of the key fob that just stops working.
Now, this explainer is actually part 7 of a bigger 10-part series, and we're basing all this on a super detailed report from a group called RFI Detectives. They're part of Virtualization Options LLC, and they've done an amazing job breaking down these complex, invisible forces for folks who aren't, radio engineers.
You know the feeling, right? You're standing there, maybe it's starting to rain, you've got your hands full, you're clicking that remote, and just nothing. You know the battery's good, so what on earth is happening?
Well, this isn't just bad luck. It's a real mystery, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. So, let's start digging for clues.
And the most frustrating part, it's so random. I mean, it worked perfectly fine this morning, but now when you actually need it, it's basically a useless piece of plastic. And trust me, you are not alone in this.
Okay, so our first big clue lies in how these little remotes actually talk to your car. It's not magic, it's all about radio waves.
See, these key fobs and garage door openers, they're not just sending out random signals. They operate on very specific frequencies, usually around 315 or 390 megahertz. It's kind of like they have their own special private channel. You push the button, and it sends a command on that exact channel.
But here's where it gets really interesting. That channel might be specific, but the air it's traveling through, well, that's a whole other story. It's anything but private.
Your key fob works in what's called an ISM band. That stands for Industrial, Scientific, and Medical. Think of it as a public park for radio waves. It's a chunk of the airwaves that's open for pretty much anyone to use with their low-power gadgets. But there's one huge catch. You have to put up with whatever interference comes your way. No exceptions. And this is a perfect way to think about it. A licensed radio band, like what your favorite FM station uses, that's like a private reserved highway. The signal is crystal clear. But the ISM band? Oh, that's like a free-for-all public highway during rush hour. Everybody's on it, and they're all shouting at the same time.
Okay, so we've got our scene of the crime, that crowded public highway, the ISM band. We've got our victim, your poor key fob's signal. So who's the bad guy here?
The culprit has a name, radio frequency interference, or RFI for short. And what is it? It's basically just any unwanted radio signal that messes up the signal you're trying to send. It's just electronic static, or noise.
The report we're drawing from puts it perfectly. It says, high-level RFI is like someone shouting through a megaphone in a crowded restaurant. Your key fob is trying to have a quiet conversation with your car, but the RFI is just screaming and your car can't hear a thing.
So where does all this shouting come from? You'd be surprised. It's from everyday stuff. We're talking about things like cheap LED light bulbs, old power lines, blenders, vacuums, even dimmer switches. All these things can be spewing out radio noise that just happens to be on the same frequency as your remote.
All right, let's wrap this case up. We have all the evidence we need to deliver the verdict.
So here's the final verdict. And listen to this. It's probably not your remote, and it's probably not the battery. The real problem is all that invisible electronic noise that's all around you.
Because your key fob is in that public space, that ISM band, it's only allowed to use a very, very weak signal. It's basically whispering, and that little whisper is constantly fighting against all that other loud electronic shouting. And, well, sometimes the shouting is just too loud, and the noise wins.
And this is why it's so cool to understand this stuff. Once you know about this invisible world of RFI, you're not just a victim anymore, you're a detective. Now you know why sometimes just walking a few feet in a different direction can make it work. You're helping that whisper find a clearer path.
So next time that remote doesn't work, you'll know exactly what's going on. And it makes you think, doesn't it? If all this chaos can mess with something as simple as a key fob, what other invisible battles are all your other gadgets fighting every single day?